Have you ever wondered why spiritual growth can sometimes feel like an uphill battle? It's a common experience, and the culprit is often within us. In fact, our own ego can work against us because it wants to ensure its own survival. Now you might ask, why would the ego try to block spiritual progress? Well, the ego often perceives spirituality as a threat to its own existence. It's like a self-defense mechanism kicks in. The ego actually has a whole slew of tactics that it can use to obstruct our spiritual journeys, and one such strategy is mental discursiveness. This refers to the continuous flowing nature of our thoughts, often moving from one topic to another, even without a central theme. It's also sometimes called the monkey mind, which refers to the constant chatter of thoughts, feelings, and worries that jump from one thing to another like a monkey jumping from branch to branch, rarely finding peace or focus. Discursiveness is a major mental distraction because when the mind jumps around from one thought to another, it prevents focused awareness and contemplation. The ego has other tricks up its sleeve. For example, it might also use external distractions to pull our attention away from spiritual practices and introspection. Overstimulation is yet another tool in the ego's arsenal, overwhelming our minds with excessive activities, making it challenging to find inner peace. The ego can even generate feelings of excitement or thrill-seeking to keep us engaged in worldly pursuits, steering us away from mindfulness and spiritual practices. Recognizing the ego's strategic objectives and becoming aware of its tactics is the first step toward understanding the ego's role in our spiritual journey. So how does distraction serve as the ego's ally in impeding our spiritual growth? Well, distractions come in various forms, from the external buzz of the modern world to the internal chatter of our minds. Each serves a purpose for the ego, which fears the self-awareness that spiritual growth brings. When we're distracted, we're often pulled away from the present moment. Our attention is fragmented and scattered. When present moment awareness is obscured, it's impossible to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations with the kind of clear, non-judgmental attention that leads to self-discovery. Distractions also play a significant role in strengthening our identification with the ego. How so? Well, the monkey mind often generates distorted perceptions of reality influenced by our subjective biases and ego-driven narratives. Like a magician's illusions, such distortions and distractions divert our attention, reinforcing the ego's narrative and obscuring the truth of who we really are. When we're caught up in the whirlwind of distractions, we're less likely to question the ego's narrative, and we're more likely to accept it as our reality. Additionally, discursive thoughts and distractions can serve as a means of escaping uncomfortable emotions or experiences. Instead of facing uncomfortable truths and processing our emotions, we may distract ourselves with incessant thoughts, further inhibiting our emotional growth and healing. Worse yet, we can become attached to the incessant stream of thoughts and emotions springing from the monkey mind, and we can form a sense of self-identity around these transient mental processes. This attachment reinforces the egoic sense of a separate self, further distancing us from our true spiritual essence. But now let's turn it around and flip things on their head. While the term monkey mind carries a negative connotation and highlights the disruptive nature of our discursive thoughts, some spiritual traditions actually view the monkey mind neutrally and even positively. You see, we should remember that once we see things more clearly, every obstacle along our spiritual journey is also simultaneously an opportunity for growth. Whether you prefer the term discursive thoughts or monkey mind, Recognizing and understanding this aspect of your mental activity is a valuable step toward self-awareness and inner peace. In the face of distractions, we have the chance to strengthen our mindfulness, to choose where to direct our attention. We can use mindfulness practices to observe and acknowledge our monkey minds without judgment. And instead of struggling against our mind streams and trying to silence our discursive thoughts with a great deal of effort, we can learn to train our minds. We can learn to sidestep distractions and to face our issues directly. And we can open our hearts and minds to transformative growth and self-compassion. But how do we overcome mental distractions and reconnect with our spiritual path? Well, the teachings of the Tibetan master Tsongkhapa offer us a very helpful guide. He emphasized the importance of overcoming distraction for successful contemplation and meditation. He called it destroying the enemy of distraction. It's not about battling with your thoughts, though. It's about relaxing, paying attention, and noticing when the mind begins to wander. It's about calmly and gently guiding your attention back to the present moment. There are several effective strategies for overcoming the enemy of distraction, which we'll cover in the next video. But the first step is to recognize the challenges and obstacles that exist within our own mind. We must develop enough self-awareness to recognize and mindfully acknowledge our discursive thoughts and emotions. We have to become aware of our self-centeredness, our cravings, and other egoic attachments that hinder spiritual progress. Mindfulness, concentration, and honest self-reflection are the keys in this process. Well, that's about it for today. If you'd like to follow along on social media, be sure to check out the links in the description below, and please help the channel out by subscribing on YouTube. And also be sure to watch our next video all about overcoming the enemy of distraction. In the meantime, remember that subduing the monkey mind and overcoming discursive thoughts isn't about shutting down our emotions or withdrawing from the world. It's about engaging life and reaffirming our commitment to increased awareness by cultivating mindfulness and concentration.